Hey yo, just want to start off this video by saying that I love you. I feel like that's really important. I'm seeing pursuit of happiness, balance and effectiveness, intelligence. Feeling a clicking in my ear, and a desire to speak. Let's start off by reading. I was reading this, it's part of a book. It's a book called Discover Your Genius. Plato's birth into a distinguished and politically well-connected Athenian family came near the onset of the Peloponnesian War. The war exacerbated an atmosphere of political turmoil in his homeland that lasted until he was in his early 20s. Originally oriented to a career in politics, Plato became disenchanted by the cutthroat struggle for power between the oligarchic and democratic factions in Athens. As he wrote, "I was disgusted and drew back from the wickedness of the times." Plato's uncles and older brothers had studied with Socrates before his birth, so we can be reasonably sure that he was exposed as a child to the teachings of the master, and it is with Socrates that an appreciation of Plato must begin. Born in Athens in 469 BC, Socrates dedicated his life primarily to the pursuit of moral goodness and the search for truth. When one of his friends asked the oracle at Delphi whether anyone was wiser than Socrates, the oracle replied, "No." Socrates, overcame by his embarrassment at being considered the wisest man of his time, by interpreting the distinction as recognition of his most important knowledge, the knowledge of his own ignorance. He believed that the oracle's intention was to bring him and others closer to goodness and truth by helping them realize their fundamental ignorance in these essentials. Rejecting the mantle of expert or even teacher, Socrates practiced profound intellectual humility, describing himself as a midwife of ideas. The process of the questing mind, critical and open, is the core of the Socratic approach. Socrates embodied the Delphic command to know thyself, his admonition. The unexamined life is not worth living, is the point of the departure for anyone who seeks wholeness and enlightenment. Socrates believed that happiness was to be achieved not through external achievement, material wealth, or status, but rather through living a life that nurtures one's soul. Socrates found his finest student in Plato, but their relationship was cut short when the Athenian democratic government sentenced Socrates to death in 399. At what Plato called a monstrous charge, the last that could be made against him, the charge of impiety. His disillusionment with Athens at its worst, Plato left for years to study abroad, seeking recourse through philosophy, literally, the love of wisdom, from the Greek roots philion, meaning loving, and sophia, meaning wise. Shout out to Saint Sophia. Oh, damn. Hold on, I just thought about something. As law and morality were deteriorating at an alarming rate, he wrote, he was ultimately forced to the belief that the only hope of finding justice for society or for the individual lay in true philosophy. Plato's Renaissance. And if you're getting bored, or if you feel me, like, I don't know, this ain't really the space for you. In 1486, at the age of 23, Pico della Mirandola asserted his stature as one of the high priests of Plato's Renaissance when he presented his remarkable oration on the dignity of man, a Neoplatonic perspective on creation that is as inspiring to students of human potential today as it was when it first presented more than 500 years ago. In it, Pico proclaims that we humans, unlike other creatures, have unlimited potential to create our own stature in life. He writes, "Neither an established place nor a form belong to you alone, nor any special function we have given to you. O Adam, and for this reason that you have and possess, according to your desire and judgment, whatever place, whatever form, and whatever functions you shall desire. The nature of other creatures which has been determined is confined within the bounds prescribed by us. You who are confined by no limits shall determine for yourself your own nature, in accordance with your own free will, in whose hand I have placed you. I have set you at the center of the world, so that from there you may more easily survey whatever is in the world. We have made you neither heavenly nor earthly, neither mortal nor immortal, so that you may fashion yourself in whatever form you shall prefer. Here's something I really like. You should be able to descend among the lower forms of being, which are brute beasts. You shall be able to be reborn out of the judgment of your own soul into the higher beings which are divine. 555. I've been seeing a lot of symbolism towards death and rebirth. Icarus and the Phoenix, and it's tough. You feel me? I don't even think it's tough. It's just rather like what I have to recognize about self, the things that I already know that I might not want to admit, and how those different things show up in my life through expressions of other people that's an extension of myself. I had a lot I wanted to say, so a lot of it will come up as necessary. I'm finna lie down, so I'm not looking at myself too much. Objectively speaking, to the material world, my life is amazing. And I think it's exactly that. I had these yogis come up to me when I was at the beach the other day. They looked at me sincerely, and I may have told this story already, but I'm just gonna say it again. They didn't say anything about my appearance. They didn't tell me I needed to change anything. They just said, your energy's misaligned. You're stuck in your lower chakras, and you're living in the lust and pride and attachment. And I said, I know. I said, I had a dream about that. Well, I didn't tell them this, but I said, I had a dream about that. The backpack and the items and the carrying the weight and the holding on to the old shit. I don't know where I was really going with this, and if it even really mattered. And of course it do, but maybe I got a lot of walls up, and maybe it's just that I'm not actually as invested in the shit that I'm saying as I think I is. I wanted to say that I feel like my perspectives have become skewed and perverted, and in ways I think that they have. You feel me? Like, there's a lot of just, well, I wouldn't say it's lust. Like, in my normal life, like in my waking life in the world, you feel me? I can interact with women and not be like, oh, I gotta like fuck them. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm attracted to them, but like I could look at them, their body, their features, whatever, and it's just an observation. It's not like a perversion. You feel me? And I'm worried that the way that I present myself in aspects of my art might not represent that very well. An inconsistency in my actions and the things that I want to say and that I do say, based on whose ideology and what ideology and for what purpose. Which one's right, which one's wrong, etc., etc. I've been surrounded by a lot of quote-unquote heathens in these last stages of this act of my life. I remember when I first got to jail, I heard this dude who was experiencing a similar like real similar situation to me. He was kind of just explaining jail to me a little bit, and he said like, blah 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 blah. These people go over here. This is like, if you're doing blah blah blah, you go to protective custody, and this is where the faggots go. And I remember I was like, whoa, like he said that, like that's like I was like taken aback by that. And then I'm thinking right now about some art that I made, and I was just like, I didn't use the term in the same way to say like faggots, like gay niggas, but just like that nigga faggot. You feel me? Like he fucking lame. But I also recognize it's just like, I don't know if I really agree with the idea that a word is really a problem. But I just see like I'm surrounded by so many people who's objectively actually homosexual. And I'm like, that's hurtful to them, maybe not. It makes me think of this story I read about Gandhi the other day. I had a dream about Gandhi. I had a dream that I ain't even gonna get into that. That shit was fucking cool though. And basically he had somebody come to him who was a Hindu man. And he said, the Muslims, they killed my child, so I killed the Muslim child. What do I do? And Gandhi was like, you need to adopt a Muslim child and raise him as your own. It makes me think of all the people that I've hurt, maybe demonized, or not even demonized, but belittled because of their beliefs in life. And I don't even care what they believe. I love what they believe. It's like I want to hear what they believe. I want to embrace different cultures and different perspectives. And I've just become really prideful, seemingly. And again, like I say these things and I'm like, well, maybe it's not. And it's just like, that's kind of the point. You're just too prideful. I don't care how right you is. You're too prideful. Because these people are happy with the perspectives that they have. They're happy with their fucking ignorance. They're happy with their dissonance. And why can't you just love them for that? Let them show up better because you love them. Not because you force them. Because you break them down. Because you beat them the way they beat you. Metaphorically, physically, whatever. I hate that nigga Terry Crews always ended up being right in the long run. I don't want to hurt these people. I listen to myself speak sometimes in my art, and it's like, I mean, it's good. Objectively, it's good, but it's like it's so angry. In so much pain. I still feel a lot of feelings of like, this is the reason I don't want to do this and act this way towards this person. This is the reason I don't want to act this way towards this person. I find difficulty in being in love. And it's actually skewing and perverting my perspectives on life in the ways that I see it has all these other people who have become more molded by it. My discomfort don't exist in doing things that's forceful. My discomfort exists in admitting things that is ultimately true. Where it's like I have certain adversities towards specific experiences with people, but I have amazing memories with those people as well. I hate thinking about people hurting because of the things that I say, and it also just annoys me that I can't just express myself without them taking it so personally and thinking everything's about them. Because ultimately, nothing that I've ever said has stopped me from being in love with these people, but it's just like, seemingly you just don't say certain things. And I find difficulty in that. Not because I can't, but because it's like, why would I lie? But am I really lying? You know, do I even believe half the things that I'm saying? And maybe I do at the time. And that's exactly what the beauty and expression is. But I find myself coming back to this idea of like, it just ain't necessary. I look at nature, at these plants, just beauty. It just makes me wanna hug the people that have hurt me. It makes me want to tell them I'm sorry and I love you. I don't know how right that is. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how much I agree with that. It's like I still believe the things that I believe in, but I want to do it in such a way that allows others to exist around me with their own beliefs. I don't even think that it was really what I did or believed that bugged my family and my friends so much. It's that I had things to say about them that maybe they didn't know I had to say about them. Or maybe they felt exposed in ways that they wasn't ready to admit. And why did I feel such a need to expose them, you know what I mean? I keep seeing war. We're at war. And it's like, do we gotta be at war though? And I'm hearing it, yes. I don't know how much I agree with that, but it's just like, ultimately it's me or them. I'm seeing wasn't mine. I got no problem letting these things go, letting these people go, but I just want to, get things off my chest and speak my mind. Apparently, it seemed that they wanted me to suffer because of the truth that I spoke. Whether or not they agreed with that truth, it was my truth, and it's still maybe my truth, regardless of what's right and what's wrong. It's just my truth. It's virtuous, right? It's like, I want to do everything that I do out of love, but back to this callback of not all viruses is good viruses, just the ones that kill cancer. Maybe it's because I'm seeing with my earthly eyes that it's harder for me to see with my soul's eye. If I didn't know these people by their face, what would I see in them? What would I hear in them? What would I feel in them? What would I perceive them as? That's why I love being blind sometimes, because the eyes can be so deceiving. Because everything that the eyes see is already just a projection of the mind. I'm feeling tension in my body that I'm just releasing right now. Just to find that I don't really care. I don't give a fuck. There's only meaning in life to the things that you assign meaning to. And so, like, all my attachments, all those different things, if the universe wills it, there's nothing I could do to ruin that. And so, when I come back down to this space of peace, you begin to wonder what actually mattered, what actually bothered me, and what actually affected me. My dreams were vivid. I've been feeling a bit less like myself recently. Back to this idea of perversion. I ain't a perverted individual, and I don't mean perversion in like just one specific way. I just mean like where there's a lack of innocence in the way that you look at things. And you know what? I could say that maybe I is a little bit. So I received this message a little bit like pornography again. It skews the perspective. I've been texting this girl in my DMs, and seemingly she cool. You know what I mean? I don't know how real she is. I'm not gonna send her no picture of my dick. You feel me? But she was seemingly like talking to me, flirting with me, whatever, but she just took too long to respond. All of this to be said that, like, you feel me, like, I don't even know why I said that. Just this idea of, like, perversion, lust, right? Lust. Like, she be saying, like, oh, let me see that dick, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, nah, like, get naked, you feel me? So she take her shirt off, send me a picture of her titties, blah, blah, blah. I unfollowed her, and not because I'm mad at her, but just because I keep going back to this idea of, like, I'm not going to follow nobody on my shit, you feel me? She left me on red. And I was going to text her and be like, you mad at me or something, but I don't even think I care. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, if this is a real girl and she's excited to be talking to me and she sent me a picture of her titties and then I unfollow her and I'm like, you feel me, like, fair enough, you know? I don't want to hurt these women. I don't even care about looking at your tits. Like, it ain't really that important to me. Like, I love beautiful women, but I also feel like I don't really love any of them, you know what I mean? Like, I have love for them, but don't go chasing waterfalls is a message that we keep getting. That song's about HIV. Do you know that? That song's about HIV. So, just wonder, like, if it wasn't for social media, how many of these things would I just let die? I don't even really have much to say. I just wanna be love and light and heal the world around me. I wanna get away from maybe the hedonistic and heathenly realms of existence. I keep thinking of this story in the Bible when Jesus went to the land of the Gentiles. And obviously I'll question the validity in certain things, but LA, the city, is beautiful. The land is beautiful, but the energy of the people is seemingly very gentilistic and hedonistic. Now, I catch myself sometimes doing this as well, but some of these people are so prideful, full of themselves, and just fucking assholes. I think they're full of lust. And again, I'm speaking to myself in some of these experiences, but that's the point, is like, I don't think I've always been like this. And like, I've seen it in my life and kind of kept my distance, but also like always kind of struggled with it. And then I don't know if anything actually changed, but I feel like it's just gotten stronger as I've traversed into the valley of the shadow of death. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't know which of these thoughts is actually mine, and I have to journal and just get to the bottom of these things, because at my core they don't feel true, but I can almost associate the projections with certain energies and certain people, and it just makes me uncomfortable, because it's like, oh, this is a nice space that I can better myself or work on this, but ultimately, at least what I feel is that these people are projecting what they want me to be, not what I is. And then, there's also the possibility that, I ain't even going to say that because I just don't agree. And you could say it's reluctance to whatever, but I'm going to release all tension in my face real quick. woke up horny as a bitch. I've been noticing that, like, my energy is not being moved and transmuted. It just builds up in my cock, and then I just fucking, like, need to, like, bust a nut. So I did that earlier. Yeah, I'm just kind of feeling a little tired right now, but I don't know if that's actually anything different than I was feeling already. I just feel more motivation to push through it when I got a little bit of semen up in my body, you feel me? Part of me feel like I'd be happy if I just had that girl that I loved. Another part of me don't think that that's a possibility. And I think that's kind of stupid to say that anything ain't a possibility. But I'm just questioning how much that's actually true, how much I'm just attached. I fucking love that woman, man. I don't know which things I'm doing right and which things I'm doing wrong. I'm just trying. And maybe that's the issue, is that I'm trying and I'm not being what I already know that I is. I just want to lie here and do nothing. And I can. Nothing's stopping me. I'm free. I'm good. I could if I wanted to just take the whole day off. And I'm so grateful for that ability. So why do I feel the need to get up and work? Even though it ain't work, it's like I got so much shit already, and I just keep creating more. And if I can't lie still, then I can't astral project. If I can't find calm and peace in the present moment, how will I receive messages and communication properly? They said there was going recent. I just love this feeling so much better. You know how much better it is to live in this state of just nirvana. I'm so, like, just in those few moments that I've calmed down and released tension, I'm so groggy, but not in a bad way. Just like I barely feel like doing anything other than what I really feel like doing. You know, I could just lie here. I love my life, man, and I hate my sight sometimes, because what I see really skews what I feel. Because when I stop thinking about what I see and I start hearing, maybe I'd see people's intentions better. Or maybe I'd just see somebody who hurts, and somebody who I love, and somebody who I want to keep loving regardless of how they treat me. I don't know how much I agree with that either, but keeping in mind that the eye tends to be dissonant sometimes. Yo, low-key, I'm just curious, why do we speak into a phallic-shaped microphone? Like, why is that the norm? Why are we speaking into some dick that feel like... Again, maybe that's my mind being perverted, but... I want to be a kid way more than you would even recognize. You know how everybody always say, don't grow up? Do not grow up. That shit's fucking lame. That shit's gay. Top 10 things gayer than being gay. Number 1, grow about knobs in that life. Not die every. I might prepare. And at the same time, I don't know if I ever broke it. I never did anything other than just be what was feeling, and you feel me, like what I was feeling deep down. And then I just kept beating a dead horse because I could. I'm scaring people that are afraid. What a funny thing. I become the same tough that I always speak shit on. And it's funny because I've been tough to the weakest people, not because they weak, but because they appear as such. You know, I ain't saying that to hate. And at the same time, I see the levels of complacency and acceptance that certain individuals allow in life, and I'm just like, wow. Well, that says something about you. Like, ultimately, these people, they never really listened to me. But when they did, I never gave them the space, and I'm in a circle right now. I've said this already. The Ouroboros. I'm eating my own tail. I don't want to let go. I want it back. I want to just not be angry at them. I want to just hold them again. Love them again. I don't want to do that in my current situation. Because everything's always better in hindsight, you know? I know that I could just walk outside and be friendly to people and say hello, say hi, say Grand Rising, whatever the fuck I want to say. I think there's a lot of pain associated with my kindness. Something ain't right about the pills, but I bought them. I don't feel like picking up the phone today. Everyone should just leave me alone. I don't feel like picking up the phone today. I don't feel like being alone. Like pain. It's like maybe you're not doing something right. And so you just keep going. You keep pushing. Because it's too late to turn around. I hate this idea of ultimate love. Because it means that I gotta be the ultimate love. It means that I gotta be the person that I want to see in others. And I hate that because these others ain't being that. And I don't like what they say and what they do to hurt me. And then it reminds me of Buddha, where he's like, everyone's anger is only a projection of the feelings that they have internally. And they discourse in their own lives that they project onto you. I hate that I'm more like Buddha and Plato and Socrates than I am fucking Future. I'm more like Bob Marley than I am Future. And this brings me back to this conversation that I had. Maybe I'm a mix of both. But you feel me? Like, if I don't feel a need to be so outwardly misogynistic and superficial and shit. Because it skews the perspective that I have about those things. And then they become seemingly misogynistic and superficial, but that ain't where I'm coming from. And bring me back to this idea that I spoke of with the trees. I can, but I don't have to. I can, but I don't want to. I could, but I don't need to. What the time is? 7:53. We could go get some lunch, some breakfast. Still recording? You still here? Are you frozen?